Okay, running through this Princess of Power one figure at a time. Shadow Weaver. Shadow Weaver was honestly one of the coolest things in the Princess of Power series. I liked her a lot. Like a lot. I thought she was infinitely cool. And in all honesty, if I have a complaint about Shadow Weaver, it's that we got to see her match wits against a couple of different enemies from the other series. But I don't think, at least as far as I am remembering, I don't remember a time when Shadow Weaver ever actually got to match power against Evelyn. Who comes out on top of that? I don't know. What I do know is this figure looks awesome. And I'm looking forward to opening it and checking it out. In terms of the cross-sell here, we're looking at Sorceress, Pighead, Shadow Weaver, Manny Faces. Manny Faces being the only Masterverse figure of this cross-sell that I do not have. And one of the only ones that I'm not in a hurry to get. Though I will admit that if I don't go out of my way and pick one up soon, I will probably end up in the same situation as I have with a couple of other Masterverse figures where they exceed the price that I'm willing to pay. We've been over this many times already. 20 bucks here, it's 20 bucks I can't spend here, and especially right now with the Conan books and whatnot being published the way they are, that's where a lot of my priority is going, as well as Conan figures is something that a huge priority of mine seems to be leaning towards, because I am attempting to get, I have the Mezco King Conan, I have the Conan from Super 7, the Cole from Super 7, and then I have another Conan from Super 7 as well as the King's Throne from Super 7 that I'd like to acquire. That's like $60, $60, $100, $100. Like, it's a lot. So these items that only cost about $24 tend to get pushed to the background. And then, whether I get them at all, sometimes that's a toss in the air. But that's the way it has to be. We all have to manage our collections, and acquisition is part of that collecting process. And if we just had infinite money to just buy whatever we wanted immediately, all of our collections would just look the same because we'd all have everything anyway. So I guess there's something to be said for prioritizing where you want your part of the collection to go at each point in time. But regardless, Shadow Weaver. Let's open her. Alright, here she is. Now, couple of things I'm really kind of looking forward to here. I want to see how the cape works. So, the cape is pretty good from what I can tell, but I'm very curious once I get it onto her arms if it will remain very good, because we've had the problem with the Sorceress. I don't like to put the Sorceress cape on the arms because I think that it's terrible. It's fine as just a cape, but it's not good once it goes on the arms. It causes real problems. I like this for what it's worth. I really like this. I like a chance to just kind of see her. You know what I mean? Like, sure, we watch the show and everything, but there's something about seeing the little details when you can hold one of these figures in your hand. It really changes it. Like, it really does. I really think she's cool. Now, under here, this part doesn't seem to move. This part does. But as you can see, it looks like that would have moved under there. It doesn't. I cannot get it to move, and I'm not about to force it in case it really doesn't move. But, yeah. Now, we've got this hand here where she can kind of be like, and do like poses and stuff like that. We've got this effect, which goes with the, it'll go with the punching or gripping hand, because she has an expression hand and a gripping hand for each side. She has a stand, because she's also one of those characters that, like, never really touches the ground, which is actually cool. But for me, to display her. What I want is I want this. So I want her to hold her little staff thing. And this is cool too, because she can literally be like this. Can we get this to go on the staff? I like that. Now it's like she's pulling. See, I like that a lot. I think that's really cool. That's cool. I like that. Now, I believe this is actually meant for her hand, which is fine, but the fact that it can go on her wand is actually a really cool plus. But it is definitely meant for a hand. So, just for argument purposes, let's pull the expression hand. Let's put this hand. Ah, damn. There you go. And then let's put that. There we go. See? Now we got like a thing like this. Bow! She's got a big old fireball thing. I cast fireball! Because that's the answer to everything, right? Let's get this cape on, okay? Looks like this is as easy as you just slip it on like that. Nice. I actually didn't hate that at all. Let's take that. Let's slip this part on. There we go. I didn't hate that at all. I didn't hate that at all. What do we get out of her? We got a T-pose that, yeah, it works. It looks like they gave her enough cape to actually cover the length. You could argue that her arms come out a little more, and maybe it would have been cooler if this cape would have just been the littlest bit longer. But for what it's worth, that is much better than what we got with the Sorceress. I still like the Sorceress. There's, you know, nothing's going to change that, because the Sorceress is easily one of my favorite things. But you got to hand it to them. Masters of the Universe does magic stuff. It just does it right. Like, look at her. She is awesome. So, I feel like I want her to have this wand. Yeah. Mine, when she goes on the shelf, is going to have this wand. Absolutely, without a doubt, I want the wand there. I love the boniness of her hands, too. And then let's go ahead and put this on. There. Now she's kind of got like magic here. But I do like the fact that I could get it on the wand. I think, personally, while this is really cool, I think I'm going to switch back to this hand. I like the idea that I can get that, because it just, I don't know, I guess I'll say it's unique. There. It's not perfect, but it's there. And I can do something like this. There. Shadow Weaver, right there. Awesome. Couldn't be more thrilled. This one works. This one is good. My biggest issue with Shadow Weaver, I was sure, was going to be the cape. That's the thing I was the absolute most worried about, is that cape would not work. That it wouldn't look right, or that it would give me problems, or that when I extended her arms or something like that, it was going to cause a problem. No. It works. It's solid. And that's a very big deal, because the Sorceress did not fare as well. The Sorceress, if I want her to use the cape, I'm going to have to make one. I'm not that good in terms of action figures, you know, doing that kind of thing. I'm not that good at customizing. But I'm going to have to go ahead and take a hit here and make an attempt, because that Sorceress, I would love for her to be able to put her arms out and do the cape thing. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. They messed her cape up. They didn't mess her cape up. In fact, I would argue that her cape, in the design that it is, they probably just should have basically reused this cape design. Argument to be made, did they do Shadow Weaver after? Did they learn something? I'd have to look that up. I can't remember the release order at this point. I don't do these videos in order. Of course, I'm here talking about Shadow Weaver now. She came out quite a while ago. But basically, I buy these figures, I put them on the shelf, I wait for an opportunity when my head is in the right headspace to talk about a certain figure, talk about certain aspects, because we've had this debate before. I've had to talk about it. Yes, I'm doing toy reviews, but that's really not what this is for me. I'm talking about the fandom of the certain thing that I'm talking about. Why it means something to me, why it's exciting, what I like, what I dislike. And yeah, it is basically a toy review, but there's a lot of extra stuff. This is my excuse to talk about the fandom that interests me and the reason I'm adding said figure to the shelf at all. So, with that in mind, this was a perfect opportunity to talk about the fact that the capes need work in this line. Like, absolutely. And it was a good opportunity to finally unbox Shadow Weaver, which, in my opinion, was the coolest villain of the Princess of Power series. By far. Like an absolute, undeniable, she was the coolest villain. We are almost done with all the Princess of Power figures. I can't believe these stacked up the way they did. But then again, if I'm really thinking about it and I'm looking over here at the shelf, there's a lot of stuff that is stacked up more than I was imagining it would have before I was able to get in here and do these episodes. But that's the nature of it. If I come in and I talk about something for 10, 15, 20 minutes, then I have to edit the episode and then post it and all this other stuff. And of course I only have so much time, and we all have personal lives, and I work a full-time job and yada yada. There's only so much time that I actually have to talk about toys or to photograph toys and so on and so forth. So sometimes I'm way behind. But I actually feel like that's okay. We're done here. Added Shadow Weaver to the shelf. Happy to have her.